Let's uh let's have a look at some of the view code. So the view is written in ERB templates and partials. As you can see here in the directory, in the views directory there's a whole bunch of directories for each of the records and sub-records. Now accessions here is a major record type, so it'll offer a show, a new, an index, and an edit template, as you can see there. Now let's have a look at extents, for example, and that's a nested record, and as you can see that's just going to offer a template, which is, as you can see there, it's a form, a little snippet of form fields, and a read-only version of the sub-record. Now, one particular difference with the standard Rails application is our use of a custom form helper. And we use this to generate the JSON model forms and the various fields required for the different types, like dates and enumerations, etc. So unfortunately the active record and its form helpers weren't a great fit for our remotely sourced JSON data and the quite heavily nested JSON model records. So we've written an ASpace form helper, which you'll find underneath the helpers directory. So in here you'll find, as I said, all the helpful API for basic creating text areas, selects, and text fields, as you can see, passwords, hidden inputs, and they all work on top of our JSON models. I'll just jump back to the extents template here, which, as you can see, is a bunch of label and fields within a block, and that block is a defined template block. And as you can read, it's defined template for an extent, where the JSON model is an extent. Now, this doesn't actually output a template output the HTML at this point in time, but it does define the template in memory. So at any point in the application you can decide to omit this template at a particular context. Now for accessions, for example, it'll do that. Just jump into, let's have a look here, the edit, and as you can see here, it renders a partial accessions form just so we can reuse it between the edit and new templates. And here you'll see a bunch of accession stuff, and in the middle here all the various nested records that the accession has, and one of those happens to be the extents sub-record form. Now it's using a shared template to render these nested sub-record forms, and that's just to keep a consistent kind of look and feel across the board, one place to change everything type of thing. I'll just jump into there. There's quite a lot of noise there, but that's just basically to handle the various types we've got. But the important call that I'm after is down here on line 41 and 45, and as you can see here, for a list of what will be extents, it'll omit the template for the template name, and that template name will be the extent template. So if I jump back to the template itself, so the defined template can be emitted anywhere in the form via ERB, but what this method also does is it registers this HTML and outputs it as a trim path template. So the JavaScript in the client, in the browser, has the ability to also render this particular portion of HTML at will. Now if I just jump to a browser, and we'll go to create an accession, and here you'll see the extents sub-record, and click add extent. This didn't do a round trip, it just loaded in via Ajax, and that's because it's used the trim path templates. And what that gives us is a very quick and responsive front end